Owlex Ray, your host. It's good to be back. It's been a hot minute since I have shot one of these or even have been involved in organizing one, but we've got some good news. I'm working with Conscious Effort Studios now. We're combining, brains and making things happen. And I was lucky enough to get someone on that I've been trying to get on for a while now. Justin Senne. I think I asked you to be on the podcast God, it's been a while, a couple of years, it might have been 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Justin's a musician here in Lagodi, and he travels around and plays at other areas. You played in Vincent's, you played at the Electric River Jam. That was really cool. You played with the Fun Guns. You also played in a project called Sun Jest. Now, that's the one I'm most familiar with, other than Breathing Room, which was a Conscious Effort Studios production. Am I correct?
Yep.
Okay. Let me just start off here. Where did you come up with the name Sun Jest? Can I make a guess? Was it a joke about Nibiru?
No, actually, it's just the letters of my name rearranged.
Far out. Okay. Wow, I was banking on 10 minutes with that question. I'm kidding. Now, I mean, some of the lyrics in that song, the 2-song single that you put out under Sun Jest. Now you did that with Steve Wagler, correct?
Yeah. So most of what I do as far as songwriting is once I have an idea, I'll record a note on my phone of myself playing it, so I don't forget it, because I tend to forget things really easily.
Same.
And the song "Ride" I sent one of those voice notes to Steve Wagler, and I told him I was working on it and asked him what he thought about it, and he sent me back all the music recorded, the drums, guitar, bass, everything, and told me to sing on it, because I tend to not finish things. So he basically gave it to me and said, just add Justin. And then once I got to the mixing stage, it needed something. So I sent it to Jared Lee and asked him if he could record a guitar solo for it. And he sent me a guitar solo and a synth solo. And the synth solo was, I couldn't not use it, even though the guitar solo was awesome. That's
such a vote of confidence for Jared, because he's a busy dude with music anyway. Yeah. For him to send back 2 parts is kind of it's a vote. It's a vote towards the song. You must have been really honored by that.
It was flattering that he would spend that much time on it. And same with Steve.
Steve as well.
So I felt kind of obligated to go ahead and finish it and put it out at that point. So.
Man, I'm the type of dude who needs that too. I mean, I'm starting to get a little more dedicated these days in my artistic pursuits, but there's some synergy when you work with other people that really evokes this sort of passion, that allows a project to be finished. What do you think it is about you that makes you kind of half commit to things?
Oh man, I didn't realize you were going to psychoanalyze me.
I'm not. I mean, we don't know where this podcast is going to go, dude. It's always different.
That's a good question. If I could answer that question,
I'm asking you that because I'm looking for the answer to myself. Mm-hmm. I mean, could you alliterate, like what do you think it is? Do you have any clues? There's a lot of people out there that are watching this that are they're thinking the same thing. They like want to learn to play guitar, and they start to, and then that guitar just collects dust in the hanger on their wall. Mm-hmm. You know, it's important.
I don't know if I can answer what makes me do that, but I can answer what makes me not do it, and that's being accountable to somebody else. I can't hold myself accountable for anything, so that's why I don't finish stuff on my own. Generally,
there's an answer in there somewhere.
But when someone else's expectation is attached to it, then I have this feeling like I don't want to let them down. Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with letting myself down.
For me, it's sort of like I'm easily distracted. Mm-hmm. Some might say I have ADD or attention deficit, or you could spin it the other way and say that I have too much to focus on. Like it's just constantly zipping by. I don't know. Anyway, there were some really interesting lyrics in not The Ride, but the other song. I'm blanking on the name. I apologize.
A Memory Frayed, almost. A
Memory Frayed. So there's a lyric that stuck out to me because I've dated a lot of witches as well. Joking, but you're talking about putting salt around the bed to keep her from getting in. I'm assuming it was her, mm-hmm. But yeah. How can you speak towards a little bit about the importance of heartbreak, not only in writing music, but just in life, like disappointments, like how important they are? How have they fueled your songwriting?
Man, that's another good question.
I'm sorry, dude.
I don't tend to sit down and dwell on the fact that I'm happy when I'm happy. I go out and, try to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Because it tends to be pretty rare. So I guess that's where like disappointment and things like that kind of fuel my creative process. Because I don't.
You have to sit down and figure out why they went wrong in the first place. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times I don't really solve the problem, but it gives me a good distraction, like the creative process.
Lets you reflect on it a little bit. I mean, I'm speaking from my own personal experience, so that's what I do. I sit mm-hmm. down and wonder how things went wrong, and even though I can't change them now that they've passed already. But yeah, that was an amazing single. Do you call that a single or a EP or just what? Just put it out.
I just kind of put it out.
How much music do you actually write? I mean, do you play every day? Would you say?
Yeah.
What purpose does music serve to you?
I guess kind of relating to the previous answer, a bit of a distraction from whatever stresses or whatever might be going on in my life. Also gives me something to work toward, I guess.
It's good to accomplish
kind of a goal.
Feels good. Yeah.
But mostly I just really like doing it. So it doesn't require any effort for me to sit down and pick up a guitar. And
so when you're playing music, when do you know that a song is good for you?
I never really feel like they're good enough. That's one of the problems that I have with actually finishing stuff, because I can't stop messing with it. Even when I'm going into the recording process, I'll mix it down and listen to it for a couple of days and then think of something else I want to do. And then I'll go back in and start messing with it again.
So it becomes too eclectic almost like
kind of
too many parts to hold in your mind.
It can get pretty busy.
That's cool. And that's a lot of options, though. I know I get really overwhelmed when I go to Walmart sometimes. I try to avoid Walmart for that reason. I walk up to the aisle and I'm like, what kind of shampoo do I want? You know?
Right.
It's absurd how many options there are in life, you know, just for everything, just for, you know, choices. I think I listen to music to hear what other people are thinking, like what are their choices, just for observation, like what do they decide to observe, and it helps me to, I guess it helps me to like verify that what I'm thinking isn't that far outside of the box or that crazy. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference between probably me and a lot of like actual songwriters, is that I'm trying to verify, and I think a lot of musicians are actually trying to just express, and you know, I don't know. So what have you been working?
I think there's some verification going on in that too with people who write songs, because whenever I get to a point with a song where I feel like it's worth sharing, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to send it to a handful of people and say, hey, this is what I'm working on. What do you think? What can I improve? You know, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it?
There's a buzz to verification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And through that process, you can get somewhat, I don't know, I guess relatability. You know, see if the people that you send that to gravitate towards some part of that song that means something to you. I don't know if that really
makes sense. Yeah, what do you think it is about music that really that people listen to you for? So if people were to listen to you, what do you think it is about you that makes them listen to that? If they like your song, what can you identify that in yourself? I really don't know. Yeah. That's a pretty abstract question. I went out on a limb there, but I apologize.
No, I like that question. What I hope that people listen for is the lyrical content, because that's probably what I spend the most time on. Yeah,
and it comes across, dude. It does. And that goes back to like what I said earlier about your emotion, your emoting. Not the emotions are cool, but the emoting through your lyrical content. Like earlier, I was listening to you warm up in the other room, and when I play music, I love it a lot more when I'm alone. I do, mm-hmm. But that's not what I'm doing it for. So there's something really important about why you're alone. I guess it's because you're kind of loving yourself. You're not loving yourself, but like nurturing yourself. Mm-hmm. You're nurturing yourself with the music, right?
Yeah.
God, I've written some good ones alone, and then I think, God, I should have hit record. I should have saved that. Then I can show it to other people so to help them too, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then, but as soon as there's something weird, it's like a Schrodinger deal where you press Schrodinger's cat, like you press the record and it just changes everything. And there's something really cool about recording when you're unaware of it. Mm-hmm. I've had a few parties I was at where I was jamming, and I'm not saying I'm as good as you or anyone else. I'm not. I'm hit and miss. I love my music though, but like there's something weird about when you hit record, it changes everything, and that kind of separates the players from I don't know where I was going with that.
I think they call that red light anxiety or something.
I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah. Where everything's fine, but then once you know that you're being observed and it's being taken down for posterity, you get a lot more self-conscious about what you're doing.
My friend Kyler Shields, good friend of mine, asked me to ask you about Long Joe. Lay it out, bro.
So Wagler, Kyler, Ian, and our buddy Kyle and I all went out to West Virginia a few weeks ago, and we drove out there, and on the way we stopped at this gas station, and there's this big cornfield next to it, and we intended to use the bathroom there, but the bathroom was closed. So we all took turns walking out into that cornfield and relieving ourselves. And when I came out, there was this dude out there. So there's a liquor store next to this gas station, and there's this dude there who's like 50-something years old, in jeans and a hoodie, drunk as hell. And he's standing there talking to all those guys. And he told us his name was Long Joe. And we're fairly certain that he's a corn genie. We asked him to take a picture of us.
It's Jim.
Yeah. We asked him to take a picture of us, because up to that point we didn't have anybody take one of all of us. And he did, and it was the best picture that I've ever seen. Like it looked perfect. It was exactly captured the joy in that moment. And Ian took the guy's phone to text the picture to himself.
Yeah.
And he said that he sent it. We left, and it wasn't until the next day that I found out that the message didn't go through. So he never got the picture. So we got to go back at some point and
we got to find
Long Joe.
Send out word nationwide. Look for Long Joe. No, I mean, I'm really sorry I missed that trip, man. Honestly, I wanted to go so bad, but like I was telling you earlier, obligations. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna switch gears because I hear a lot of heartbreak in your music, and I'm really and it's a current theme in my life that I just went through some heartbreak and grief, but specifically the heartbreak. And I won't go into specifics, but how has heartbreak affected your music? Does it help to heal you when you're playing music from romantic love, I guess is what I'm getting at?
I think maybe. I know what I tend to do after I've written a song. When I listen to it, like right after I wrote it, it means a certain thing to me. I perceive it in a certain way. Once I allow some time to pass and I listen to it again, then I'll hear maybe a slightly different message. I think that documenting the whatever feelings you're experiencing and that kind of stuff in a song allows you to keep going back to that and taking something else from it.
So it's not a complete loss. It's like gains. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm sorry that you went through the heartbreak you went through, man. Honestly, I could hear it in your music and I felt for you. So for whatever that's worth, there that is.
I appreciate that, but
yeah,
you don't have to be sorry.
It's all love. That's all it is.
Heartbreak and disappointment and that kind of stuff is an important part of being a person. I think it gives perspective to the things that you should appreciate about your life. Can't appreciate a sunny day without some rain, kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's definitely growth to be had, and music sort of documents that. It's part and parcel to being a human being. And speaking of parcel, you're a postman.
I work for the post office. Yeah.
Right. You're a post day?
Post
I'm kidding.
something.
Yeah. Post something. Do you ever hope to like get up out of the 9 to 5 grind and like play music? I mean, how deep is your ambition for it? And I'm not gonna hate on you if you say that it's just a distraction.
I think everybody on some level dreams of being able to do the thing that they love doing exclusively. So sure, that's probably a goal or an ambition or something like that, but not really something that I'm actively working toward.
Right.
Again, because of the inability to finish things, that kind of hampers it.
Do you foresee a time when that will change?
Probably whenever I have a midlife crisis or something like that.
Yeah, something extreme.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good answer. Like, midlife crisis. Honestly, that's, I'm always waiting on the next heavy thing to happen, to really set me off on the thing I always wanted to do, And the thing just happened, which is crazy because I kind of took a sabbatical from the podcast, being real candid right now, but whatever. Took a break from the podcast.
Cut it out if you need to.
That's what I'm doing, dude. That's why I do it, honestly. It feels good, though, just to be real and authentic as much as I'm capable of. But, yeah, I took a long sabbatical from the podcast, and it just didn't feel right to do it, blah, blah, blah. Dad died, blah, blah, blah. And, man, it just feels good to be back. And now I think I have, like, this driving force, and I sort of had my... Actually, I didn't think about it, but I'm 34. This is my midlife crisis. I partied really hard. I probably got 68, if I'm lucky. Shit. Good point.
Well, there's the quarter life crisis now, too.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow. What does that look like?
It's supposed to be like around college age, where you start to freak out about picking something to do for the rest of your life. And that kind of stuff.
Dude, there's something to be said about us sending 18-year-olds off to figure out what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Yeah, like, I didn't know when I was
I had no clue. Yeah. I went to school.
I still don't know.
Yeah, I think I do know now, and it's this, but I don't know what that looks like because this is such an ambiguous kind of pursuit. Mm-hmm. The podcast thing, like I do the music thing about half the time, and then the other half I'm just like, one night we had this dude on who was trying to start a sex cult.
What?
In Vincennes. You didn't see that? Oh, no. Dude, this is a wild... He's actually like... He's a very interesting dude, and I'll just leave it at that. Check out Synagogue of Asmodeus with Rustin Berkshire, guys. That was a really wild podcast, but there's a lot going on out there in the world, dude, and it begs for us to elaborate upon it. And in this world of TikTok and just the constantly shortening attention span, there's something about podcasts, and I'm kind of stealing from Rogan here, Joe Rogan, but like there's something about podcasts, about long form conversation like we're having right now, that really breaks down walls and like just elaborates, illuminates on all the details going on and the differences between you and I, even though we're wearing the same shirt. Mm-hmm. Like we may seem like the same dudes because we're both white dudes that are into music in the same area of the country, but like ultimately we're completely different. Everybody's got such a different spin on things, and the podcast world really, God, it just opens that up for the common listener. These people that are listening are at work right now. They're in their car, just kind of catching up. They saw Justin Senne and they heard him at a music event that happened some years back, the River Jam. So let's get back to it. I'm sorry, man, I was going off on a tangent, but what are some of your influences? Like, what are What really has lit a fire under your ass as far as music, if anything?
Honestly, my biggest influence is Steven Wagler.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
There's no way that anybody could ever keep up with him because he's far too prolific for that.
He is. That's a great word.
He just decides he's going to do something, does it 100%, and then throws it away.
Yeah. On to the next one. Yeah.
As far as like more widely known influences, which it's a tragedy that Steve is not more widely known. But as far as other influences, I don't really know. All kinds of stuff. Jeff Buckley, Tool.
Damn, that's
like
that's a spectrum.
I guess I'll just leave it at that. Pretty much everything in between there.
I could do a whole podcast about Buckley dying. That's some wild shit. Conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I don't believe it really, but like we have to keep an open mind in this world or a lot of stuff is going to pass us by. Maybe it should pass us by, you know? Tool as well. Like Maynard's a wild dude. There's a lot going on there. I think Wagler's going somewhere. I think we'll see that.
If he wants to.
All right, guys. We'll be right back with Justin Senne. We got to take a break real quick. You got any more songs, dude?
Oh, yeah.
Could you play me one, please?
Yeah.
I'll throw you a few bones if you want.
No.
Okay.
I play for free.
Right on. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Thank you for sitting with us through that break. Justin, welcome back as well.
Thank you.
So I guess my next kind of line of questioning, we were talking about your influences before the break. Mm-hmm. We were talking about some of your major influences. You said anything from Jeff Buckley to Tool. You and some friends of yours, I guess it was Steve Wagler, Joel Norris, and Tyler, right, made an album called In the Silo by Breathing Room.
Oh, that was
or is this two different? Right.
Wagler, Joel Norris, and Jeff Bockhold. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't remember his last name. I don't know why. I'm sorry, what was the question?
So there was no question.
Oh.
I was just saying, I was making sure I had all the band members correct. But dude, that album got referred to me by Wagler, or not Wagler himself, but Kyler saying this is Wagler, so I checked it out. That's really how I first heard some of your stuff playing with other people. I've heard your solo stuff. Mm-hmm. What would you say the difference is between playing by yourself and playing with other people? Do you prefer one over the other? It kind of touches on what we were talking about earlier a little bit.
There are pros and cons to both sides of that. Yeah. One of the advantages of doing stuff by yourself is you have complete and total control over what you're doing, which can sometimes be a bad thing. The thing I love about playing with other people is it feels like it's more productive because you don't have to have the whole idea. You just have to have a part of the idea, and then everybody else can add stuff to it. So like the stuff with Breathing Room was really enjoyable for me because I didn't have to be a control freak about it. I could just sit back and contribute. I played guitar and sang and did some of the songwriting. Steve did most of it.
You and Steve together on that was reminiscent of Pink Floyd. There's a lot of harmonies, like deep harmonies, like long ones. How original was that at the time, or did you guys have to run through that a lot?
Oh, as far as the
creation of the whole album, really, because there seemed to be a theme throughout the album. How did you guys arrive at that sound?
I think it was kind of an accident, just because we all have kind of different styles and influences, so we brought kind of different textures to it. We didn't really actively try to go in any particular direction with it. We just were at first just in a room jamming to see what happened. And
you guys had an organ, right? Or a piano, or an electronic piano?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that Joel?
I don't remember if Jeff played that or if Steve did.
So you have a lot of multi-instrumental musicians in the band, right? So are you guys switching off, like just hopping around to what feels right?
No, with Breathing Room, we pretty much stuck to what we normally played. And Fun Guns, we used to kind of bounce around.
Yeah, that album was really psychedelic. I don't know if you guys were going through a psychedelic time in your life or not, but yeah, that was an amazing album. I really enjoy it. I know that the band didn't last, like it was kind of a one and done sort of thing. What are you getting into these days, Justin?
As far as like newer music that I'm listening to and stuff
the stuff that you're writing.
Whatever comes out. I don't really try to go in any particular direction when I'm working on stuff. I just I'll pick around on the guitar and see what I think sounds cool or pretty or whatever.
Yeah.
And then maybe hum a little bit or something to
So that's how you develop your melodies, by humming?
A lot of times. Sometimes it just
The words
there's something that just feels natural for whatever I'm playing, and other times I just kind of try stuff out until I find something that I feel like fits.
I know you studied in college. You studied religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Religious studies.
Yep.
What did you arrive at from all that? Because I mean, I studied philosophy in college, so I have a similar yearning, I guess you could say. What can you tell me? Is it too personal for me to ask? Like where you lean at in that direction?
I'm really uncertain.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I learned from the stuff that I studied, what I took from it personally, is that pretty much everybody feels like they know the answer and they're all right. I think it's a personal truth kind of thing. If you believe something, no amount of somebody else trying to explain something rationally to you is going to make you stop believing that, because belief is irrational.
You can be influenced, though. You know, you can definitely be influenced by something that kind of catches you off guard, in my opinion. But this is what I've arrived at lately, and tell me what you think of this. So, I think that somehow we're one being that has projected itself, because it was lonely, into all of us. Like, we're all just fractals of the major Godhead, for lack of, some religions call it the Godhead. I went from 0 to 60, I know, but like this is what I think right now, but I know this is going to change. And I think we're all each other experiencing different ways to be, because really God's lonely.
That's wild.
What do you think about that? That's I can't even tell you how I arrived at that. It just hit me one day, and I was like, wow. Like, because I don't know about you, but I have like this extreme longing in me to connect with other people through, whether it be music, romance, family. There's even a desire to like create another human being, you know? Do you have a desire to have children?
No, not really.
No? Can you tell me why, or is that too personal?
I don't know that. I mean, it's not that
a lot of people are with you on that these days, and I'm not hating on it, but I'm just curious.
It's not that I'm like, no, I never want to have kids. It's more, that's not something that I'm actively seeking.
Right. Yeah, I guess I wasn't either, yeah. Now that you put it like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry. I'm just nitpicking for interesting things. So the music that you've been writing lately, what are some of the titles? And what are some of the things that you've been working on? What are the themes of the songs you're writing?
I don't know. I guess.
I mean, does the alpha gal affect your music writing at all? So you have a disease, right, that you contracted from a tick, and
Yep.
I heard about this long before I met you, and I hate that for you, man. I really do, sincerely. So the disease is from a tick, and you become allergic to certain foods, correct?
Yeah, it's an allergy to a sugar molecule that's in mammal blood. So
Wow.
any mammals, basically any of their tissues, I'm allergic to now.
So it's like glucose that you're allergic to?
Well, it's a specific molecule that's in their blood.
How much of the available food would you say you're not allowed that is not good for you?
I don't know.
Percentage wise, I mean, it's a significant amount, right?
There's quite a bit of stuff that you wouldn't think has that kind of stuff in it. But I can find stuff to eat. I mean, it's not that big of a challenge, especially living in a bigger city like Bloomington. There's a lot more options as far as vegan food stores and stuff like that.
Does the disease tend to bend you towards foods that are healthier?
I think just by necessity, yeah, because
Right.
I go for things with limited ingredients and that kind of stuff if I do buy something off the shelf. But I also do a lot more cooking for myself than I think most people do, because I can't just go to McDonald's and pick something up.
So it's turned into sort of maybe that's not a good thing, I guess. Has it affected you emotionally, just the struggle of it?
Not really. At first, especially before I got the diagnosis with it, it was really frustrating because I didn't know what was happening. And I was, still eating stuff that, like beef jerky and that kind of stuff, because I had no clue. So that was, I guess, emotionally challenging, but I'm at the point now where it's
everyday life.
It doesn't really affect me.
Man, I was blowing this way out of proportion in my head. I had it all wrong. I did. I was thinking that you were devastated by it. Yeah. I'm sure you were at first, right? I mean,
there are things that I miss, I guess, but I've never really been that into food. It's always kind of just been
not a foodie.
fuel.
Yeah.
But yeah, every now and then I think about bacon or pizza or something like that.
Oh, bacon. What are some of the biggest casualties of it? I mean, food-wise, you said bacon and pizza. That's too big.
I mean, those are the two big ones. Those are the only ones that I ever think.
When people are cooking bacon, do you have to leave?
Actually, I do, because I get a vapor reaction.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
damn, dude.
I would have to leave.
So can you not eat any part of a pig since it's a mammal?
Correct.
Yikes. I mean, there are worse things, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're keeping a totally awesome, positive attitude about it, man. I admire you for that. I'd find some way to make it a tragedy. I would, dude. I mean, that's just my nature, but I'd get over it. It really takes it out of you living the 9-to-5 life. But, I mean, I guess you look around and see everybody's doing it, so it's all right. There are worse things, right? But at what point do you take a stand and, do what you want to do because time's running out? What do you think about that?
I don't know. I think that's something everybody needs to answer for themselves.
Yeah.
As far as from my perspective, I don't know that I take anything that seriously.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
nothing?
Not really.
Is that out of a need to like preserve yourself, you think?
Maybe. I've never really been like all that passionate about things. So, like, I don't have strong opinions on stuff, and
It's not like
that
from
kind of
any
thing.
specific event that you're like that. That's just your nature.
yeah, I think so.
That's a good nature, I suppose. It's almost Buddhist in a way. Like,
I guess I don't know.
I take everything really seriously.
Do you?
Yeah, and it's not like sometimes I try to be like you're saying, and I'll spend months just like trying to just not care about certain things because I have no control over them. Like I have this extreme inability to let go of control, and I don't mean that I'm like trying to control people. I just mean that like I want things to be different a lot for my own, and I wonder sometimes if that's selfish. Do you think that that's selfish?
I don't think so.
Yeah, like you said, it's like up to each individual person to answer their own questions, right?
Mhm.
What do you have any, before we get out of here, do you have any major life lessons or like sayings or commandments, if you will, that you'd like to tell the people that are watching the podcast, like the major lessons that you've learned?
I don't know. I don't really think of myself as that wise to
Well, what has
give
worked for
people
you?
advice. What's that?
You don't have like a set of virtues or something that you kind of hang on to?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's all right. Just asking.
Like I said, I don't know. I don't really take anything that seriously. I guess that would be the advice.
Yeah.
Don't sweat the small stuff. That's what my dad always used to say.
My dad always said, "Don't pet the sweaty stuff." I don't know.
That's
what that
also good
means.
advice.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but
I don't know, but it sounds gross.
rest in peace, pops. You sweaty motherfucker. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate
Thanks for
the
having me.
conversation. Hey, guys, check out Justin Senne on Spotify under Sun Jest. And then you can also find a special appearance from Justin Senne on an album called In the Silo by Breathing Room.